Hey, thank you for coming by ToryMagoo44. Today is December 1st. It is the beginning of the Christmas holidays, the Hanukkah holidays, just the holidays. And this is my little tree that I have, one of them. I'm kind of decorating my house still, but I love this time of the year. I love the lights. I love driving around and seeing them, decorating my house, just having fun. It's a fun time of the year. It really is. So I hope you guys are having fun too. Now, one of the things I had said was that you could ask questions and I would answer them. And a few people asked me some questions, so I'm going to answer them for November. This is kind of November, even though it's December, but I didn't squeeze it in November. I'm really happy you guys liked my trip to Hollywood also, because I almost didn't post it. I thought, they're not going to care, it's kind of goofy. But I was happy to hear you guys really dug it. It was kind of fun because it's a really cool area. I love it. So I might do it again. I might do a part 2, just for fun. Because, I don't know, there's just something about it. I never get tired of it. It's very energetic. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time. It changes all the time. There's always something going on. All right, so first of all, someone asked me about the Master. A few people have asked me about the Master. The Master, did I like it? What did I think of it? First of all, the first time I saw it, I was very disappointed. I thought the acting was great, of course. I thought the photography was great, but I was really hoping for a very, very hardcore story on L. Ron Hubbard, the more in-depth story of Hubbard. This was very true to my ex-husband's mother and father were in 1950, and this was a lot how it was, a lot of it. I mean, the drinking part of it I had never heard of, but since have heard of that. So since I left, I've met people who said, yeah, that's true to form, and that he popped pills too, which really ticked me off because I fought him for 30 years for my medicine for epilepsy. So it was like, wait a minute, this isn't okay. You know what I mean? So that's my little upset with L. Ron Hubbard, if anybody wants to know. You try having some grand mal seizures, and then you might feel a little bit different on it. So, anyway, back to the Master. We went with a few people, an ex-Sea Org member, myself, a critic, kind of anonymous, and then his wife, who was a teacher. And she felt, we were all kind of talking about it afterwards, because it definitely brings like, wow, who's what, and what happened. And Freddie, she thought was Hubbard's alter ego, sort of like the dark side of him. Other people have said they thought it was just a person, It was just different things that were a little bit like, well, what is he doing? Like the nude ladies. I thought, somebody today told me they thought it was Hubbard's dreams. I thought it was he and Aleister Crowley and Jack Parson and himself, and this is factual, they, in the late 1990s, I think early 1950, were doing these like seances and all kinds of black magic weirdo stuff, including these things with women. And so I thought that was sort of their way of kind of bringing that part of his life into it, because it was close to that time. But anyway, it was very entertaining, and then the second time I loved it, because I already knew it wasn't going to be what I thought it was going to be, and it was very entertaining, very, very educational and interesting. I thought Louis Seymour Hoffman did an excellent job, and so did Freddie. Both of them were like fantastic. So anyway, it's a good movie to see. So there you go. Now, one of the questions that someone asked me is, what is Winter Wonderland? Winter Wonderland is something Scientology started, I think, back in the 70s in Clearwater. And it was sort of like I was in back at the time, and we were sort of like, we need to do something, sort of like what churches do. They put out little decorations of something. So they started this Winter Wonderland. Kind of just more of a PR front. That's really what it was for. And that really still is what it is. Sort of like, we're a church, and this is our church Winter Wonderland, right? And Scientology doesn't believe in Christ. Hubbard didn't believe in God. So he didn't believe in Jesus. So it's kind of like Christmas is whatever it is for each person. My family, we always celebrated Christmas, not in a religious way, but more just having fun. Putting up the trees, putting up the decorations, but not for a religious means. Because we we weren't doing that. We were Scientologists, and it's the same for most people in Scientology. So the Winter Wonderland thing is really just a PR front for them, but it's usually beautiful. Like last year, they did these beautiful trees and lights and a little Santa house that everybody can go and sit and talk to Santa and take pictures, and they have some of their celebrities come and sing and stuff like that. That's usually what it is. This year they had nothing because they're renovating, supposedly, the building that has the big, long, tall sign on it, and that's where they usually have Winter Wonderland in their parking lot there. Now there's just a big trailer there for the renovation thing, so they just have Happy Holidays on it. So it's kind of funny. I mean, I don't know if it's because they're broke and they don't have any money, so they can't buy all the trees and stuff because it's got to be expensive, or if it really is they're renovating. But knowing Scientology, usually they would be able to squeeze in some kind of a Winter Wonderland thing. And so I'm surprised. I really am. It's in Hubbard's days, he would have looked at it as definitely a PR flap. They blew it. They definitely did. But that's Miscavige. He's blowing it all the time. So it's, it's just kind of what he does. And I have no idea what this guy is thinking of, locking people up in a hole and thinking that nobody's going to care about that. I mean, it's like you are creating enemies every single minute that you continue that kind of thing. Every time you do the abusive things you do, flattening or breaking into my car 2 weeks ago when Tony Ortega was here and turning my lights on while we were picketing and having my battery drained, that's not a very good thing. And most people don't like that. They really don't. And when they hear about it, they really go, this isn't okay, Scientology. And it isn't. It really, really isn't. So there you go on that. That's my little lecture to David Miscavige, who I'm sure never listens to me. But you know what? I told him karma's going to come your way, and it has. And it will continue. As long as you keep doing these abusive things, it will bite you in the ass. No question about it. You can pay off judges. You can pay off all kinds of different people, police, yada, yada, but you can't pay off karma back. That's the bottom line. You can't. So, okay, so there's that question on what is Winter Wonderland, and that was by Nicole, I think. Let me just check. Hang on. Let me check. What is Winter Wonderland? Yeah, it was by Natalie. Okay, sorry. Okay, and the next one's a good one, too. Scientologists are always saying they've handled a situation. My guessing is that they mean they've solved a problem. That's right. That's what they mean by handled. Hubbard said that a cycle of action means start, change, stop. So once you finish the cycle of action, it's handled. It's done. You don't have to think about it anymore. There's not like a half of it out or done or incomplete. It's done. It's handled. It's finished. That's what it means. Now, she said she thinks it's often like putting a Band-Aid on something that doesn't really solve the real problem. Well, of course, that's a lot of what Scientology is Band-Aids for things, where people think it's something that's handling a solution, but if you really look at it, is it? Is it really? Oftentimes, no, it isn't. Sometimes it is, but oftentimes it isn't. So, yeah, but the handling thing is more for things that you're doing. It's more of an administrative thing, usually. Like you're getting something done, and it's handled. It's finished. So there's that. And then the last question that she had was, did the Indies declare SPs? I'm not an independent, so I can't really speak for them. As far as I know, they don't. Are they like double SPs? I love that. That's a very good way of thinking about it. If they did declare them, yeah, they would be, I guess, double SPs. That's funny. What are some of the main differences between Indies and the Church of Scientology? Mainly, my view is the independents don't run all the abuses. I'll get it out for Pete. And he told me he's got a little drinking game where when I bring out my SP declare, they all take shots. It's the Magoo drinking game. So there you go. Here's my SP declare, just in case anybody hasn't ever seen it. And it does say on the back, her only terminal is the International Justice Chief, right? So there you go. So the Church of Scientology declares people. See, it says the Church of Scientology. That's who does it. The Indies don't do that I know of. The Church of Scientology, because of declaring people suppressive, breaks up families. Now, isn't it interesting that I was in for 30 years, and I have like 37 folders, and in all those 30 years, I mean, what is Scientology? I was OT7, which is like next to the top of the bridge. They never found out I was this evil person, but now overnight, when I changed my mind, I'm suppressive, don't talk to her, rap, rap, rap. They made up all these flat-out lies. And this is one thing I wanted to point out to you guys, because what they do is they get all the Scientologists to click on Tory Christman Religious Freedom Watch, right? So now they've driven it up on Google, so it's the first thing you see, is all their bullshit lies about me. I don't really care, but I just think it would be a fun game to see if you could drive up some of the other, there's tons of Xenu.net is in, you type in Tory Christman, there's other good sites that come up. Even this YouTube site comes up. See if you can get it to come on up and beat them. Because, I know what they're doing. And I thought, hey, there's 2 million uploads on the thing. If everybody clicked on it, it's going to drive the Religious Freedom Watch thing down. Which, frankly, I don't care about their lies. I'm happy they're kind of on there because it does show they do fair game. That's fair game. Because they're flat out lies. And they won't come talk to me. So there you go on that. So the abuses are the stopping free speech, breaking up the family, fair game. They rope in young kids for a billion-year contract, which is awful and shouldn't be allowed. They lock up people, this is a new abuse, really, where they're locking up these, David Miscavige is locking up his executives in the hole, which is awful. And then fraud, where they say they're going to do something, they promise it, they don't, which is amazing. And then medical abuse, that's the other one, which I experienced directly. Not a lot of people did, but I definitely did. And, it's awful. It's awful. I mean, it's really awful. And they even admitted it was wrong 10 or 20 years after they had done it. But, the damage was done. I mean, you people who know me, I mean, I have no short-term memory, thanks to their making me get off of my medicine and whatever. It doesn't matter. It's something that I use to tell people, if you're in the Church of Scientology and they're telling you the tech will fix any kind of a medical condition, go see a doctor. And don't go see a Scientology doctor, go see a real doctor. Because it won't. It won't. And if you might have little wins on it, but you're not going to fix it. It's a medical condition. Which is what my mother told me. She said, it's a medical condition, Tori. They're going to kill you. And she was right. And they did kill someone who had epilepsy, where the guy did try to get off his medicine and he's dead. And I'm sorry if his family hears that. It's awful. It really is. Look at these Narconon kids. Narconon is a front group for Scientology. It's one of their drug rehabilitation. They've had 4 or 5 people, thanks to Dave Love, Bert, and Colin, and everybody who's helped expose Narconon. But they've 4 or 5 people have died at the Narconon Arrowhead, and hopefully they shut it down. But they've got these bad things going on. So anyway, there you go on that. Now the other question she had, no wait, let me just make sure. I might have answered them all. I think I did. Oh yeah, so the difference in the indies. So, the indies don't have all the abuses that the Church of Scientology does, that I know of. And I think I'm right. I've met enough indies, and I really don't think they do. And do I think the indies will become like this Church of Scientology? I don't, because I think that's why most of them left. They didn't like the abuses any more than anybody else did. And I think that's why most of them left. So, no, I don't think they'll become like them. I think the Church of Scientology, if they don't go to prison, and that will hopefully be the end of it, but if they don't, I think it's just going to whittle down to like just this little kind of percolating group that's, marries within each other, and they give birth to kids, and those kids are Scientologists, and it's just like this little teeny group of people, sort of like, the Christian Science or something like that, where, it's around, but not really. Their days of expansion are over. David Miscavige in these 4-story ideal orgs, I don't know what you were thinking, Armand, but it's fun to watch, because it's like seeing a giant elephant in someone's living room and having people say, there's nothing here, nothing. We're doing great. And it's like, really? Honestly? I mean, there's a thing in Scientology called obnosis, and it's called observing the obvious. And David Miscavige, your obnosis drills are way out, man. Way out. So anyway, those are those answers to those questions. I didn't really see any other ones, but if you have any, you can always send me a private message asking me a question. I'll see if I can answer it. And I want to thank all of you. If you can, like I said, see if you can just type in Tory Chrisman once a day and see if we can drive it up so that we can drive down their Religious Freedom Watch thing. And it isn't because I care about what they're saying about me, because I don't. You know, it's like, for me, is excellent proof, but it's just a fun game because I know they would hate it. They want their bad news about every critic up there, you know, so that they're at the top. And I think we can outbeat them. I do. So anyway, there you go. That's your CS, which is a program that you're supposed to do. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But if you want to do it, do it. Just type it into Google. And it has to be, you know, pick one of the things underneath my name that you like and keep hitting on that, you know, each day, one time a day. There you go. All right. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful beginning of the holidays and you're celebrating things. Have a fun rest of the weekend and a good, happy December. I love you guys. Let me get my Christmas tree. There you go. All right. Peace out. Thank you for everything you do to help.